86 is one of the greatest modern mecha anime. Everyone who has watched the anime agrees that this light novel adaptation is simply incredible, if not an outright masterpiece. But the journey to get to that point had countless ups and downs, from not just the on-screen drama, but also a lot of the things that happened in real life that almost caused the 86 anime to fall into obscurity. Here's some backstory. In early 2020, A1 Pictures took on the task of adapting a well-received light novel from Japan called 86. Aniplex, who produced the anime, thought that they could get the anime out by the end of 2020 itself, which was unrealistic enough at the time, but because of the thing that happened in 2020, it was then delayed to be released early next year. From the very beginning, 86 was doomed to fail by its management. It's quite possible that Aniplex didn't have that much faith in the 86 anime. And being a massive anime company that recently had a terrible year all because of production issues outside of their control, Aniplex kept pushing on for releasing the 86 anime as soon as possible. So with less than a year's worth of actual production time, the first part of 86 aired in the spring season of 2021. And how did that turn out? Surprisingly enough, it was actually quite brilliant. At least for the time being. Right from the get-go, you can tell that 86 is not going to be a light-hearted story. The opening scene is literally someone losing their fucking mind while a full-on war is taking place on screen. 86 on the surface is a brutal war mecha anime story, where autonomous robots called legions have gone rogue, and a war rages on between the Republic and the Legion robots. The Republic consists of 85 districts where people called Alba enjoy their everyday lives even during an ongoing war. But what they are unaware of is that their happiness is the result of the many sacrifices of the 86. A specific group of outcast people who pilot these spider-looking mechas called juggernauts and fight the war for the Republic. Lena is a resident of the Republic who is also known as the Handler. Her job is to essentially guide the 86 whenever it's time to defend the country. Halfway through episode 1, you are introduced to this cheerful group of kids and teenagers who are playing around, having fun, and eating together like a makeshift family. And then, suddenly this happens. These kids are the 86. They are the ones at war against the legions because they are forced to do so by the Republic. The Alba live unaware of the human lives that are being lost each day in those fights, and even those who do know about it act like the lives of 86 are worth no more than mere pigs. While Lena, on the other hand, who knows about the truth of the 86, feels worse and worse each day about their situation, whom she is growing attached to. As each episode passes by and you get to know more about these characters and the world they live in, the anime gives you a false sense of security and you can't help but grow attached to some of them. But before you know it, everything crumbles back down in moments where the viewer is reminded that in the world of 86, no one is safe. And thus, 86 follows the story of our two protagonists, Lena, who lives in the safe country of the Republic, and Shin, who is the leader of the Spearhead Squadron that fights off the legions. Lena and Shin live in contrasting worlds, and their personalities are the opposite in every way as well. While Lena is a timid yet strong, straight-laced and optimistic person who treats the 86 kindly, Shin, on the other hand, has seen the tragedies of the war zone for the last 5 years of his life, and it has shaped him into an apathetic and uncaring personality for the most part. In case you haven't already noticed, yes, the initial theme of the story of 86 is racism, a topic that has been used in nearly every fantasy anime ever made. This, alongside the fact that 86 is a mecha anime, was enough for a lot of people to not consider picking up the anime when it was first released. Being a light novel adaptation means that there is a lot of information and terminology that gets thrown around, which the viewer has to piece together. The story of 86 is not easy to understand. You don't just have characters info dumping for no reason, or even taking the time to explain how this world works. That is to say, 86 is a story where the viewer has a lot of homework to do. Every tiny detail from visual storytelling to offhand conversations play a massive role in structuring the story of 86, and piecing together those clues slowly starts to reveal the real underlying themes of the story that are not just surface level concepts like racism and discrimination, that for a lot of people is an overused topic.
Quit slacking off, lazy 11 monkey!
The Britannians are a lot more racist than I remember. Every moment presented in 86 holds some importance to its overarching story, and every detail was meticulously planned and placed throughout this beautiful adaptation. I am a sucker for creativity, especially in anime adaptations. In the sea of fast-paced, overproduced generic adaptations made for commercial purposes, it is refreshing to see someone just pour their heart out on a project. Every scene of the anime has a cinematic look and feel to it. Everything from the consistent contrast in the lives of our two main protagonists, to the foreshadowing of major events, to expressing the personalities, pain and emotions of each character is done through visuals alone. A good example of the unique and artistic direction of 86 comes through the beautifully placed transitions. A match cut is when two separate clips are connected together and they blend into each other seamlessly. You can easily do this by putting two different shots together while matching the action being taken in both the clips, whether it's cutting between similar looking objects, facing another direction, or simply cutting the clip on the same character but with contrasting expressions. You might have noticed by now that 86 likes to do this a lot. Every episode has some kind of a smooth transition that gives off this cinematic vibe, and it's not just limited to the transitions. The Chekhov's gun is a storytelling rule that states that every detail presented in a story should have a reason to exist, and 86 takes this rule very seriously. For example, if a random looking couple is walking in the background, they will hold some significance to the person in focus. If a book is shown in a frame, it is going to be referenced again. If the camera points at a button coming off, then you can bet that it's gonna get stitched up later on. There are countless such examples of hidden details and symbolism that even if a casual viewer doesn't understand or notice the subtleties in the visuals, they can still tell that 86 is not your run-of-the-mill average adaptation. And the best part? The first season of 86 only adapts the first volume of the light novel. In a time where light novel adaptations are usually treated unfairly and adapted at nearly 3 to 4 episodes per volume, it's great to see that there are still directors out there who not only care for the story, but also care immensely for bringing that story to life through what is among one of the most artistic and creative anime adaptations we've seen in this decade so far. Some of the scenes would have simply gone stale without the brilliant direction of the anime. I mean, how the hell do you even make phone calls between our two protagonists actually feel interesting without making it boring or frustrating? Episode 3 literally has a 2-minute long unbroken shot of Lena talking to the Spirit Squadron, but because there is so much depth in the conversation and the animation, you might not even notice those 2 minutes passing by. This was the first time Toshimasa Ishii was directing an anime, and somehow he delivered far better than anyone could have expected on his first attempt. Fun fact, Kunyasu Nishina, who worked under Ishii on the 86 anime, went on to direct the episode 6 of Oshinoko. You can clearly spot a lot of references and inspiration taken directly from the 86 anime, like the match cut or the use of the camera lens to tell a story. I think that just goes to show the kind of influence that 86 had because of its unique direction. The first season of 86 was certainly amazing, though it wasn't quite enough for the fans to recognize it as a masterpiece just yet. But the team working on the 86 anime was also not done just yet. In fact, they were just getting started. By the time the second season of 86 had begun only 3 months later, everyone was awfully excited for what more the anime had in store after the ending of the last season. And the anime did not disappoint. The second season was a step above the first one in every single way. While the main focus of the first season was on the theme of discrimination, war and tragedies of the battlefield, the story in the second season was less intense but focused more on the characters this time, who now try and find a meaning in their lives that was still now filled with devastation, which accompanied with a consistently great direction and animation, made the second half of 86 feel even better than the first one. But it wasn't all sunshine and roses, because the real production mess was just about to begin. It all started when the episode 7 of the second season got delayed, and instead the viewers got a 6.5 episode. 0.5 episodes are usually recap episodes to fill the broadcasting gap in case the anime is falling behind on the production. That, in and of itself, isn't a big deal. But then they proceeded to make 2 other 0.5 episodes. That's at least 2 weeks of delays caused by production issues. By the 10th episode, it was obvious that something was severely wrong in the backends of this anime. But with only the last 2 episodes of 86 to go, the viewers were still optimistic enough. And that's exactly when it happened. Because of the constant delays till now, 86 no longer had a time slot to release those last 2 episodes, since the fall 2021 season had ended by that time. This means that the last 2 episodes of 86 were indefinitely delayed. This not only resulted in killing off any discussion surrounding the anime, but it also caused a lot of people to drop the series entirely. While it's true that 86 was never really as popular as it should have been, because it was looked at as yet another mecha anime by most fans, the genre that was dying in the last decade, the anime itself certainly was now less popular than ever before because of this delay. So the wait for the last 2 episodes had begun, and it lasted a total of 86 days. Well, that's just like the title of the anime. If you can't tell, the management was more or less trying to create a spectacle out of their production fuck-up. And as if a 3-month-long hiatus wasn't enough, to rub salt on the wound, 86 now had to compete for the spotlight with the likes of Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan that were both airing last year's winter season in March. To sum it up, everything that could go wrong had gone wrong by now. If the last 2 episodes of 86 do not live up to the hype created by this 86-day long wait, then all of the love, effort and creativity that has gone into the first 21 episodes would have been for nothing. They did not have to do anything more than conclude the season with the same quality as the rest of the series. But director Ishii had something else in mind. He did not just want to create an ending to the season, he wanted to create a masterpiece. It was a risky move. This could potentially ruin the experience of an otherwise incredible show if they messed up the execution of the finale. And thus, on the 12th of May 2022, the 86 anime returned for its final 2 episodes. And because of those episodes, it became a masterpiece. The popularity and the ranking of the anime skyrocketed. The author of 86 broke down crying. The fans could not believe what they just witnessed, and it was all just so beautiful. This is what happens when everyone working on a project shares the same love and passion to their individual craft, from the animation to the sound design to the creative direction of the series, which together created one of the best anime episode experience of last year, all of which could have easily failed if they missed the landing, if those last moments of 86 ended up being a put together mess because of the lack of time and management. But they took a massive risk and created one of the most creative and artistic finale episodes that perfectly landed the ending of 86. Those delays that the fans of the series had to deal with last year isn't something we need to even think about today. But the fact is that those production issues resulted in the anime losing a majority of its audience, and there are almost no videos about this anime whatsoever on YouTube. A lot of the good videos I could find were created by the fans themselves about the hidden details of the anime that I referenced a lot in this video. The bottom line is, the anime might not have gained any major popularity or discussion surrounding it because of the unfortunate circumstances that it found itself in. But the fact that even after an entire year since the anime ended, a random guy on the internet can be moved by its story and execution enough to want to create a video about it probably means that the people working on the anime did something right. You should definitely consider watching 86 for its story, its characters, or even just the experience of the cinematic anime. Consider subscribing if you enjoyed this video. Let me know your personal experience with 86 if you've seen it. That's it. Thanks for watching.